Hi everyone, welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is La Lobita. Welcome to my page, and I will be doing a full moon energy report and channeled message for this upcoming full moon eclipse in the sign of Pisces. So there are so many energies and emotions surfacing individually and in the collective. And really what this full moon eclipse brings is a container for folks to dig deep and for this full moon to surface a lot of energies, emotions, and maybe past events that the collective has been dismissing, putting aside, shoving deep within us because it may be painful, it may be hard to face. But really with eclipse and full moon energies, one thing is certain is that it's time to face the truths. It is time to face the shadows, and it is time to essentially make sudden endings in order to get to the next level. And usually that's what eclipses do. They bring about fast, sudden revelation, fast, sudden change, and a fast and sudden opportunity for you to timeline jump into your next phase of your journey. Now, before I dive deeper into the channeled message that I was beginning to receive as I was preparing for this reading, I want to take a moment and make sure that we all come back to this very moment in this time. So if you're watching or listening to this video, I'm going to do a quick sound bath so that we can arrive mentally, spiritually, and emotionally to this reading. All right, now that we've arrived, let's go ahead and jump in. So as I was meditating for this reading, two messages were coming in from spirit. The first being the need to tap into our hearts and really tend to past hurts, tend to past pains that perhaps have never been given the container to be felt, to be grieved, to be heard, and to be purged and transmuted. And so again, this full moon offers that opportunity for you to tap deep into that inner world, into the deepest parts of our hearts, and feel that hurt, feel that pain, so that we can release the old pains living in our hearts, release the old emotional baggage living inside of us, and lighten our load for the next phase of our journey. But another thing that we do once we start to clear old wounding, specifically in our heart space, in our heart chakra, is we prepare ourselves once again to love unconditionally, to lead with our hearts, to lead with our highest selves. And so again, the heart space is a very powerful chakra. It is the chakra that opens up the key to your soul. And so if we are living and navigating life, protecting our hearts, feeling fear to let people in and to trust individuals, then we're not necessarily living in our own highest potential in life, because to be in the embodiment of your highest self and your soul, it is to lead with your heart, right? A lot of the messages that I was getting before this was your heart, being an open-hearted being, is your best asset, right? The other part of that message was the need for the collective to really work with your anger, to work with repressed emotions, to work with the energy of anger. So definitely asking yourself, what does my anger want to say? What does my anger have to express? Why am I still carrying this? And for many of y'all, anger and the heart space is essentially interconnected, because a lot of times it is our anger, it is our fear, it is our hurt that keeps us from coming back to our heart space or loving in the way that we want to love ourselves and individuals. Another thing about anger, before I tap into the cards, is anger. Underneath anger is grief. So, what grief has manifested and turned into the energy and spirit of anger. And so those are the two things that Spirit wanted me to relay before even jumping into this. And it's because this full moon offers that opportunity. Pisceans, they're very of the heart. They are led and live by their intuition and the heart. And so this full moon eclipse offers that opportunity for folks to tap back into that heart space. And Pisces is ruled by Neptune, so really diving deep into the inner waters of our being to find the root cause of things, nip it, and carry on. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the card spread, the 4-card spread. Our first card is Autumn. So our message being release the old and rest. So the main question here is, what is the old baggage you are still carrying? What are the old beliefs you are still carrying? What is the old mindset you still have in your internal programming? Now is the time with this harvest moon, right? The harvest is when we have completed our cycle of putting in that work and we reach our harvest. So now that you've reached a moment 9 months into the year, definitely do some reflecting of all the work that you've put in to your healing, into your growth, into your work, whatever the things may be, whether it is the family, the attention and the care that you've been given to your family, to your community, to your job, right? Really reflect on the last 9 months and identify, right? Celebrate your victories, celebrate the growth, but also take inventory of the old programming, of the old, maybe the things that through these last 9 months that you've been able to really bounce out of. Maybe it's old programming, maybe it's old fears that you've been able to face through your endeavors. And so really making the time to release the old thought process, the old patterns, the old habits, and give yourself that permission to rest as we are in a window between, the old timeline and the incoming timeline. Because I don't know if y'all could feel it. I've been feeling it. There is a new timeline coming. But if you've done the work, you will essentially be able to shift into this timeline with ease. And so Spirit really wants you to prepare for these shifts. And the best way for us to leap into the unknown is by releasing the old program. Now, our second and third card of the spread is the unlimited possibilities and truth card. So once again, going back to our heart space, our heart space holds our inner truth. It is once again where our soul rests, our higher self, the portal to our higher self. And so Spirit has been asking this of us for many, many months. If you've been rolling with me, is to tap back into your truth, to the truth that is absolute for you, and to tap into the inner knowing and help guide you. The ego is always a guide to guide you into this next timeline where you are coming into a timeline where if you've been doing the work, if you've been clearing the old patterns and programmings, you can tap in to a timeline where you have unlimited possibilities. Therefore, if you are led by love and you want to be an artist, you want to, take on the next thing, you want to create, your spirit's definitely saying kind of like the road is clear. There are unlimited possibilities here in this timeline, in this moment, because eclipses, that's what they do. They are wrap-up season. We are also this year 2025 is year 9, so it's all about endings. It's all about wrap-up season. This whole year has been about closing out old cycles, purging old patterns, because guess what? Next year is year 1. We continue our new journey. Think of it as going back to the Fool's card in the tarot, right? We start our new journey to begin to embark in the newest timeline and to begin to work on the next phase of growth and lessons that your soul needs in this human experience, in this human incarnation. So again, our last and final card is the Purpose card. So all of this goes back to needing to heal those wounds, needing to work with the anger, with the fear, with the hurt, needing to tend to the old wounding is in our heart and release it so that we can utilize our heart space and come into our purpose, because Spirit's saying there's unlimited possibilities, but it all comes back to you reaching your highest potential, you reaching your highest purpose, you reaching your highest destiny. And the only way to get there is by you yourself making that space and lightening your load. We know it's hard. It's the hardest thing to purge, to tend to old hurts. But let me tell you, once you have the purge, you are free from the pain. You are free from the emotion. You are free. The only thing that will always live is the experience. Yes, no one's going to negate that. But give yourself that permission to feel, and to feel unapologetically, so that you can come back into that heart space, into that truth, and see your heart as not a weakness, but your biggest strength. And so the last card I will leave you all with is the She-Wolf card, which is very fitting for this full moon, for this upcoming full moon. And the message here is unleash the wild within. So again, Spirit wants us to be our most authentic selves, and it is coming back. We're gonna find this, right? The key, the map to this lives in our heart space, but also when we tap into our truths, we come back to our truest self. And oftentimes, maybe to others, it is, wow, you're weird, wow, you're wild, but it all comes back to being the truest you that you can be. All right, y'all, that's your message for this full moon eclipse in the sign of Pisces. Have a good full moon. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next month.